What if your voice could open doors, change minds, and make people truly pay attention? What if the way you speak became one of your greatest strengths? Welcome to Growth Listen. Today, we dive into Master Your Voice, public speaking secrets for power, clarity, and magnetic influence. This audiobook is designed to transform the way you communicate by revealing the psychological and practical tools that make people listen. Whether you speak on a stage, in a meeting, or in everyday conversations, your voice carries your confidence, your intention, and your influence. In this book, you'll learn how to control that voice, shape your message, and deliver in a way that feels powerful and natural. From managing nerves and speaking with clarity, to using tone, pacing, and storytelling to connect with your audience. This audiobook guides you through everything that turns a speaker into someone people remember. If you've ever want to communicate with more impact, more presence, and more conviction, you're in the right place. Chapter 1. Command the room before you say a word. You command the room long before you speak. People read you. People measure you. People decide who you are before a single syllable leaves your mouth. And this is where most people lose the game. Not because they're unintelligent, not because they're inexperienced, but because they walk into rooms like they're asking for permission to exist. You will not do that anymore. From this moment forward, you will command a room the second you enter it, not with ego, not with arrogance, but with controlled presence that comes from posture, breathing, and deliberate stillness. This is a foundation of powerful speaking. If you fail here, your words won't matter. People respond to your presence before they ever hear your voice. Your brain knows this. You feel it when someone powerful walks into a space. They don't have to announce themselves. Their energy announces them. Let me make this clear. Presence is not genetic. Presence is not personality. Presence is trained. And you will train it. The reality of first impressions. Here's a truth you need to swallow. Human beings make judgments in under 1 second. Yes, 1 second. By the time you start talking, they've already formed a narrative about you. Your job is to shape that narrative intentionally. Think of CEOs, generals, respected leaders. Watch how they enter a room. Slow, calm, deliberate. There is no rush. There is no frantic scanning. There is no fidgeting. They move as if they own their space, not because they're better than anyone, but because they've trained the world to expect strength from them. You must do the same. The doorway pause. There's a technique elite communicators use. It is simple, powerful, and rarely discussed because most people never think about their entrance. It's called the doorway pause. Here's how it works. You approach the doorway. You stop for 1 second. You breathe once, slow and controlled. Then you walk in at a calm, intentional pace. This 1 second pause gives your brain a moment to reset, drop tension, and shift into leadership mode. But more importantly, it signals to everyone watching that you are not entering on accident. You are arriving. I've seen CEOs trained to do this before every board meeting. They pause, they breathe, they enter, and the room shifts, not because of words, because of energy. This is not theatrics. This is psychology, the triad of presence. Your presence rests on 3 pillars, 3 behaviors that instantly change how others perceive you. This is the triad of presence. 1. Posture. 2. Eye-anchoring. 3. Controlled silence. These 3 elements will make you look confident. Even if you're shaking internally, they will make you appear grounded. Even if your heart is beating fast, they will make people listen. Even if you haven't spoken yet. Let's break each one down into actionable steps. 1. Posture. The physical foundation authority. Your posture is your broadcast signal. It tells people everything, whether you're confident or scared, whether you're open or closed, whether you're the leader or the follower. The rule is simple. Stand tall, shoulders back, chin level, spine long, not stiff, not military, just aligned. This posture communicates three things. Strength, you are grounded and capable. Stability, you are not rattled or rushed. Authority, you take yourself seriously, and others should too. If you slouch, fold into yourself, or shrink your frame, you're sending a message you don't intend. I don't believe I belong here. People pick up that message instantly. And if you don't believe you belong, they won't either. Practice this. Stand with your feet shoulder-width apart. Imagine a string pulling the crown of your head upward. Relax your jaw. Drop your shoulders. Breathe deep. This is your power posture. Use it every time you enter a room. 2. Eye anchoring. The secret to immediate respect. Eye contact without stability looks nervous. Eye contact with stability looks powerful. Eye anchoring means you look directly at someone or a specific point and hold your gaze for 2 to 3 seconds before shifting. Not darting, not scanning, not searching for approval. Anchored. Here's why this matters. People who appear scattered visually are perceived as uncertain internally. But someone who looks around slowly with intention creates the impression of clarity and control. Practice this. When you enter a room, pick a point, back wall, center table, a person's face. Anchor your eyes there for a moment, then move your gaze to another point. Slow, deliberate, controlled. You are telling the room, I see you, I'm here, and I'm not overwhelmed. 3. Controlled silence, the most underrated power. Silence is authority. Silence is confidence. Silence is a psychological weapon in communication. Most people feel silence because they're uncomfortable. They ramble. They over-explain. They try to soften themselves. This weakens you. A powerful communicator uses silence intentionally. A pause before you speak. A pause after you finish a point. A pause when entering a room. Silence signals strength because it shows you're not afraid of the space around you. Practice this. Next time someone finishes speaking, pause 1 beat before you respond. Don't rush. Don't jump in. Let the silence do the work. This single habit will elevate your perceived authority instantly. The energy you carry. You can't command a room if your energy is frantic, apologetic, or chaotic. Your energy must be calm, grounded, and confident. Here's the rule. Enter every room 10% slower than you feel like you should. Slower walking, slower breathing, slower movements. That 10% slowdown creates gravitational pull. People interpret it as poise. They interpret it as leadership. They interpret it as strength. Your energy must say, I am not in a rush. I am in control. Real-world application. The CEO example. Think about high-level executives. When they walk into a meeting, they don't scramble in. They don't look around nervously. They don't adjust their clothing or fidget. They pause. They scan. They settle. And the room adjusts to them, not the other way around. Many of them are trained to do this. Yes, trained, because presence is a learnable skill, a communicable signal, a mechanical behavior. If CEOs can learn it, so can you. If leaders can embody it, so can you. Presence is strategy, not personality. What you must do now. Here is your assignment for the next 24 hours. No excuses. 1. Practice the doorway pause every time you enter a room, even at home. 2. Use the triad of presence the second you step into any environment. 3. Train your posture every time you stand or sit. 4. Anchor your eyes instead of letting them dart around. 5. Use controlled silence to shift your energy from reactive to grounded. Do this, and you will change how the world responds to you. Because commanding a room has nothing to do with speaking loudly. It has nothing to do with having the right personality. And it has nothing to do with charisma. It has everything to do with presence. the silent, powerful signal you broadcast the moment you appear. Master this, and every word you speak afterward will hit harder, land deeper, and command respect. Chapter 2. Speak with intent, not noise. Most people don't speak with purpose. They speak with anxiety. They speak with insecurity. They speak because silence scares them. They speak because they think more words equal more impact. They're wrong. Leaders don't speak to fill space. Leaders speak to shape minds. Leaders speak to direct attention, not scatter it. Leaders speak with intention, sharp, clean, deliberate intention. And that is what you will learn right now. Because until you speak with intent, no technique, no trick, no vocal strategy will save you. Your speaking will always sound weak, ungrounded, unfocused. You will ramble. You will lose people. You will dilute your message. But when you speak with intent, everything changes. People lean in. People respect you. People trust you. You become a communicator with weight. The problem: most people are noisy speakers. Let me tell you the truth. Most communication is noise. Empty noise. Thoughtless noise. Nervous noise. Noise that wastes time. Noise that drains credibility. Noise that kills authority. People talk simply because they feel pressure to respond immediately. People talk because silence feels like failure. People talk because they believe their value comes from constant output. It does not. Your value comes from clarity. Your value comes from direction. Your value comes from your ability to articulate what matters and cut everything that doesn't. If you want to speak with authority, you must eliminate verbal clutter. And verbal clutter comes in many forms: rambling, over-explaining, apologizing unnecessarily, using filler words, repeating yourself without purpose, starting sentences without knowing where they're going. You must remove all of it. This chapter will teach you exactly how. The precision rule, a leader's filter for speech. Here is the single most powerful rule in this chapter. Before you speak, know the point, not the sentence, not the phrasing, not the perfect wording. The point. What do you want to happen in the listener's mind? What shift are you trying to create? What outcome are you aiming for? It may take one sentence. It may take 3. But if you don't know the point, you shouldn't be speaking at all. Here is the precision rule in its full form. If the words don't move the point forward, remove them. This is the mindset of strong communicators. This is how leaders speak. This is how top performers cut through noise and deliver impact. When you adopt the precision rule, your speech becomes tighter, more intentional, more persuasive, more powerful. You stop sounding like a person who's trying to be heard. You start sounding like a person who deserves to be heard. Real-world example: trial lawyers. If you want to study powerful communication, don't look at motivational speakers. Don't look at influencers. Don't look at politicians. Study trial lawyers. Why? Because in a courtroom, every word matters. Every sentence can tip the scale. Every phrase can change a verdict. They do not have the luxury of noise. They cannot ramble. They cannot guess their way through a point. They cannot afford loose language. Top trial attorneys speak with surgical precision. They know exactly why each statement exists. They know the psychological effect it is supposed to create. They know the emotional reaction it is supposed to trigger. Their language is intentional, measured, strategic. And here's the key. You don't need to be a lawyer to use this. You simply need to adopt their mentality. Every word serves a mission or it gets cut. The cost of noise. Let's get brutally honest. When you speak without intention, you damage your credibility. Here's what noisy speaking communicates. You haven't thought things through. You're unsure. You're insecure. You're unprepared. You're easily rattled. People feel this immediately. And once they feel it, they stop listening. Because why should they listen? You're not giving them clarity. You're giving them chaos. Noise is the enemy of leadership. Noise is the enemy of persuasion. Noise is the enemy of influence. You must kill the noise. The 3 deadly habits that destroy authority. Let's look at the 3 biggest bad habits you must eliminate right now. 1. Speaking before thinking. This is the fastest way to sound unpolished. You start talking while your brain is still forming the idea. You create half sentences, weak openings, and clumsy phrasing. Fix it with this simple rule: pause. 1 second. Just 1. Use that pause to identify the point. 2. Over-explaining. When you explain something 5 different ways, you weaken all 5. Over-explaining signals insecurity. It tells people you don't believe your own message. Fix it with this rule. Say it once. Say it clearly. Then stop. 3. Filler language. Like, maybe I think kind of. All of these phrases bleed your authority dry. Eliminate them by slowing down your rate of speech. Filler arises from speed, not uncertainty. Slow down, and the filler disappears. The power of intentional pauses. You want to know a secret? Pauses make you sound smarter. Why? Because pauses show composure. Pauses show structure. Pauses show mental clarity. People assume that anyone who can pause must be confident, because insecure speakers rush. Insecure speakers fear silence. Insecure speakers run from the gap between words. But a confident speaker uses silence as a tool. A confident speaker uses silence to underline a point. A confident speaker uses silence to let ideas land. The next time you're speaking, insert a pause after your key sentence. Just a brief moment. Let the ideas breathe. Let the listener process. You will be shocked by how powerful you sound. The practical drill. Cut your sentence by half. Here is an exercise that will transform how you speak in the next 7 minutes. Take a sentence you would normally say. Cut it in half. Deliver only the essential part. Example. No. Yeah. What I'm trying to say is that we really need to be more focused in our team meetings because lately things have been drifting and people seem distracted. Cut it to, we need focus meetings. No drifting. No distractions. Suddenly you sound like a leader. Suddenly you sound like someone worth listening to. Suddenly your words carry weight. That's the power of precision. What you must do now, for the next 24 hours, practice speaking with intent. Use the precision rule. Cut the noise. Cut the clutter. Cut the filler. When you speak, know why. Know the point. Know the impact you want to make. Your words are tools. Your words are weapons. Your words are instruments of influence. But only if you use them with intention. Leaders speak with purpose. Followers speak with noise. It's time to decide which one you are. Chapter 3. Own your pace and people will follow you. Most people rush when they speak. They rush because they're nervous. They rush because they want approval. They rush because silence feels unsafe. But leaders don't rush. Leaders don't chase attention. Leaders pull attention in, and the tool they use is pace. Your pace is not an accident. Your pace is a weapon. If you don't control it, it controls you. Today, you take that weapon back. The truth, rushing destroys authority. When you rush, you give away power. You signal insecurity. You signal fear. You signal, please stay with me. I might lose you. People don't follow that energy. They tolerate it. They turn down the volume of their attention, even if they keep looking at you. Rushing makes your words sound thinner. Rushing forces your breathing to tighten. Rushing makes every sentence feel disposable, like you're trying to outrun your own thoughts. You can't lead from that place. Authority is incompatible with panic. Confidence is incompatible with hurry. Certainty does not sprint. Let me make this brutally simple. If you rush, you look like a follower. even when you're trying to lead. Slowing down is not about speaking slowly. This is where most people get it wrong. They think slow down means drag out your words. No, that's not leadership. That's lethargy. Slowing down means speaking from the center of your body, not the edges of your anxiety. It means you pause because you choose to. You breathe because you're in control. You give space because your words deserve it. Slowing down creates gravity. Gravity makes people lean in. Gravity makes people listen harder. Gravity makes your presence feel larger, even if your voice is soft. Watch Tony Robbins. Watch Barack Obama. Watch any high-level communicator. They bend the room by controlling pace. Fast when they choose. Slow when it matters. Still when it counts. Their pace is intentional, not reactive. That's what you're about to learn. The command pace. The command pace. The 3 speeds of authority. There are only 3 paces you need. Use them well, and people will follow your voice without ever realizing why. The 3 paces are the anchor pace, slow, deliberate, grounded. The narrative pace, steady, conversational, confident. The strike pace, fast, sharp, intentional. Each one has a role. Each one changes the emotional temperature of the room. Each one creates a different kind of authority. Let's break them down. 1. The anchor pace. Purpose, create gravity. Create presence. This pace is slow. Not lazy, slow with intention. This is the pace you use when you want people to feel the weight behind your words. Great leaders use the anchor pace when they make a point that matters. They drop the speed. They increase the silence. They make the audience do the work of leaning in. It's the moment a courtroom goes still. It's the moment a coach speaks before the final play. It's the moment a CEO announces a decision. Try this right now. Say a sentence out loud, slow, grounded, unhurried. This matters. Feel how the room, yes, even the room you're in alone, shifts. That's the anchor pace. You don't use it all the time. You use it to make people pay attention in a way they can't ignore. Use it for openings, key ideas, moral statements, emotional truths, conclusions. If you want your message to carry weight, you must speak with weight. 2. The narrative pace. Purpose, build trust, build flow. This is your baseline pace. It's the pace you use most of the time. It's relaxed, comfortable, and clear, not rushed, not dragging, just solid. This is the pace Barack Obama uses in 70% of his speeches. It's the pace Tony Robbins uses when he's guiding, teaching, or connecting. This pace says, I am confident. I am in control. I'm not scrambling. I'm not selling. I'm leading. Your breathing is slow. Your gestures are clean. Your voice feels like a steady current. This is the pace that makes people trust you. Use it for stories, explanations, setups, transitions, general communication. This is the pace that gets people to follow you unconsciously. 3. The strike pace. Purpose, create impact, deliver punch. This is where you speed up, but only for a moment. The strike pace is fast, sharp, and controlled. It's the verbal equivalent of a jab. You use it to inject energy. You use it to raise intensity. You use it to snap the listener awake. Politicians use it when they want applause. Coaches use it when they want commitment. Speakers use it when they want to hit a point with force. Example: you know what kills confidence? Rushing, rambling, over-explaining, letting fear drive the moment. That strike pace, quick, rhythmic, deliberate. But notice something critical. The strike pace only works if you return to slower pacing afterward. Fast only feels fast compared to what came before it. That contrast, slow, fast, slow again, is what makes your words feel alive. Use it for emphasis, punchlines, emotional spikes, moments that need fire. But never stay in strike pace too long, or you lose control. How you practice the command pace. Let me give you the exact drill, because you're not here for theory. You're here to grow. Drill 1. The 10-second anchor. Take any sentence you care about. Say it out loud. Stretch it to 10 seconds. Yes, 10 full seconds. This forces you to breathe. It forces you to control your body. It forces you to own the silence. Do it until it feels normal. Drill 2. The narrative flow test. Set a timer for 60 seconds. Pick a topic. Speak in a calm, steady pace without rushing. No speeding up. No racing the clock. You're building rhythm. You're building trust in your own voice. Record it. Listen back. You'll hear where anxiety pushes you to speed up. Fix those moments one by one. Drill 3. The strike burst. Pick one sentence. Say it fast, sharp, controlled. Then immediately return to slow pacing. Fast, slow, power, presence. This contrast teaches you emotional control. It teaches you to shift gears like a leader. The hidden benefit. Pacing controls emotion. Your pace affects your listener, but it also affects you. When you slow down, you calm down. When you control your breath, you control your mind. When you claim the silence, you claim the moment. Most people try to sound confident. Leaders do something different. They sound calm, and calm becomes confidence. Authority is not loud. Authority is not fast. Authority is not complicated. Authority is controlled. And pace is control made visible. Your new standard. From now on, you do not rush. You do not chase reactions. You do not collapse into speed just because the moment feels big. You set the tempo. You set the room. You create the gravity. People follow the one who controls the pace. Be that person. Your voice is not background noise anymore. Your voice is an instrument of leadership. Own your pace, and people will follow you every time. Chapter 4. The Magnetic Voice. Build tone, depth, and resonance. Your voice is a signal. It tells people who you are before your words ever land. It announces your confidence, or your insecurity, your authority, or your doubt. Most people speak from the throat. That's why they sound tense, thin, and forgettable. Leaders don't speak from the throat. Leaders speak from the body. Leaders speak from depth. Leaders speak with resonance. And resonance is what makes a voice magnetic. Today, you learn how to build that. Resonance creates presence. Let's make something very clear. A magnetic voice is not about pitch. Some people have high voices. Some people have low voices. Both can be powerful. But resonance? Every powerful communicator has it. Resonance is vibration. It's the sound that comes from your chest, diaphragm, and lungs, not just your vocal cords. Resonance makes your voice feel full, rich, steady, grounded. It doesn't matter if your pitch is high or low. Resonance gives your voice emotional weight. Think of news anchors. Think of great narrators. Think of elite public speakers. Their voices don't strain. They resonate. They speak from the diaphragm, not the throat. That's why you trust them immediately. That's why they sound calm under pressure. That's why they sound like they know what they're talking about, even before they finish a sentence. Your voice can do the same. The problem, most people speak too high and too tight. When you speak from the throat, you do 4 things wrong. You strain. Your neck tightens. You run out of breath. You sound stressed. You rise in pitch. You sound unsure. You sound rushed. You sound smaller than you are. You lose control. Your voice shakes. Your tone cracks under emotion. Your delivery becomes inconsistent. You tire out fast. Public speaking becomes exhausting. Conversations wear you down. Your voice loses endurance. This is why many people hate hearing recordings of themselves. They're hearing a version of their voice that was never meant to lead. But you can fix this. And the fix is mechanical, not emotional, not mystical. Mechanical. You train the voice the same way a musician trains an instrument. Principle 1. Breathe from the diaphragm. Your breath is the engine of your voice. If the engine is weak, the voice is weak. If the engine is tight, the voice is tight. Most people use shallow, chest-level breathing. Leaders don't. Speakers don't. Anchors don't. They use diaphragm breathing. Deep, steady, low. Place one hand on your stomach. Place the other on your chest. Inhale. If your chest rises first, you're doing it wrong. Your stomach should expand. Your diaphragm should drop. Your body should feel grounded. This type of breath gives you more power, more control, more stability, less strain. You cannot have a magnetic voice without diaphragm breathing. It is the foundation. Principle 2. Relax the throat and jaw. Tension kills resonance. A tight throat blocks vibration. A tight jaw suffocates tone. You can hear it instantly. Voices that sound squeezed, sharp, or pinch lack presence. To fix this, you need relaxation, physical relaxation. Try this right now. Drop your shoulders. Release your jaw. Let your tongue fall from the roof of your mouth. Exhale slowly. You'll feel the throat open. That space is where resonance lives. A relaxed throat allows sound to vibrate. A relaxed jaw allows tone to expand. The more relaxed you are, the richer you sound. Principle 3. Speak from your chest, not your mouth. This changes everything. Your voice should feel like it starts deeper than your throat, almost like it's coming from your sternum. When you speak from the chest, 3 things happen. Your voice deepens, naturally, not artificially, not forced. It just resonates lower. Your voice slows down. Chest voice can't be rushed. It demands calm. It demands control. Your voice gains weight. People feel it, not just hear it. This is why singers warm up their chest voice. It's also why public speaking coaches focus on lower resonance before anything else. Your chest is your amplifier. Use it. Real-world example. News anchors. News anchors are trained to speak from the diaphragm because they need to project calm authority through a screen. They're taught to breathe low, relax the throat, let sound resonate in the chest, avoid strain, keep tone smooth and steady. They do this because their voice sets the emotional tone for millions of viewers. If an anchor sounds panicked, the audience panics. If an anchor sounds grounded, the audience stays grounded. Your voice plays the same role in your world. Maybe not on national television, but in your relationships, your workplace, your leadership roles. Your voice sets emotional temperature. If you want people to trust you, follow you, or feel calm around you, your voice must carry that calm first. Exercise is to build a magnetic, resonant voice. These are mechanical drills, not theory, not fluff. Do them daily, and your voice will change. Let's go. Exercise 1, the low hum. This is a foundation exercise. Inhale deeply into your diaphragm. Exhale with a long, low hum. Feel the vibration in your chest and face. If you feel the vibration only in your throat, you're too tight. Relax the jaw. Lower the pitch slightly. Let the vibration spread. Do this for 1 minute. Twice a day. This builds resonance faster than anything else. Exercise 2, the chest drop. Place your hand on your chest. Say a simple phrase like, I am speaking from here. Aim the vibration downward, not upward. This forces your voice to anchor. It builds depth and stability. Keep practicing until the sound feels low, warm, and steady. Exercise 3, the diaphragm push. Inhale deeply. Speak a short sentence while pushing slightly outward from your stomach. Example phrase, this is my real voice. This teaches your body to support your voice from the diaphragm, not the throat. Exercise 4, the slow count. Count from 1 to 10. But here's the rule. Each number must take one full breath, and each number must resonate in your chest. This builds control, breath support, and confidence. Exercise 5, the jaw release. Before any important conversation or presentation, shake your jaw gently. Stretch your tongue. Breathe deeply. Relax your throat. This eliminates strain instantly. No tension. No tightness. Just resonance. Your voice becomes magnetic when you stop forcing it. A magnetic voice is not created through effort. It's created through release. You're not adding power. You're removing obstacles. You're clearing tension. You're letting the breath do the heavy lifting. When you speak from the diaphragm, your voice naturally deepens. When you relax the throat, your tone naturally smooths. When you anchor your sound in the chest, your presence naturally grows. People don't follow loud voices. People follow grounded voices. Voices that feel calm. Voices that feel controlled. Voices that feel real. Your voice is an instrument of leadership. Tune it. Strengthen it. Resonate through it. You don't need to sound like anyone else. You need to sound like the most grounded version of you. Do the work. Do the exercises. Train the instrument. A magnetic voice is built, not born, and now you know how to build yours. Chapter 5. Remove weak language that destroys your power. Weak language is the fastest way to lose respect. Faster than bad posture. Faster than shaky pacing. Faster than poor eye contact. Your words signal your certainty or your insecurity. Most people speak with verbal leakage, unconscious filler, softeners, and apologies that sabotage authority before the message even begins. Today, that ends. You're going to learn how to strip weak language from your speech and replace it with deliberate, decisive, high-authority phrasing. Let's begin. Weak language is a habit, not a personality trait. Some people think verbal weakness is just how they talk. No, that's an excuse. Weak language comes from lack of awareness, fear of judgment, the need for approval, rushing, sloppy speech habits. It is learned, which means it can be unlearned. You're not stuck with the way you currently speak. You can rebuild your linguistic identity from the ground up. But first, you must see the problem clearly. The hidden cost of weak language. Weak language doesn't just make you sound uncertain. It makes people question your competence. Here's the truth most people won't say out loud. People assume your speech reflects your thinking. If you sound unsure, they believe you are unsure. If your words are cluttered, they assume your mind is cluttered. If you hedge, they assume you're afraid of being wrong. This matters. It matters in meetings. It matters in interviews. It matters in relationships. It matters in leadership. A tech founder can walk into a pitch meeting with $1 billion idea and lose investor confidence in 30 seconds because they pepper their sentences with, I'm not sure, but kinda, I guess, maybe if I think we could. This language kills momentum, kills trust, kills conviction. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to stop sabotaging yourself. The banned word list. Here it is. These are the phrases you must eliminate from your speech starting today. Say them out loud if you need to see how weak they sound. One, like, and you know, these are fillers. They drain authority. They make you sound unprepared. 2, I think this screams uncertainty, even when you're right. 3, I'm not sure, but never leave with doubt. 4, maybe, kind of, sort of. These soften your message so much it loses impact. 5, does that make sense? This sounds like you don't believe what you just said makes sense. 6, I just wanted to, this minimizes your intention. It makes you look like you're apologizing for speaking. 7. Sorry, but over-apologizing is a credibility killer. This list is your enemy. These words weaken your presence. These words drain your power. Remove them, and your communication transforms instantly. Why fillers exist, the real psychology. Most people don't use weak language because they lack vocabulary. They use weak language because they lack comfort with silence. Silence feels threatening. Silence feels like judgment. Silence feels like exposure. So people fill the silence with noise, verbal junk. Is not a thought. Like, is not a thought. Maybe is not a thought. They are shields. They protect you from the discomfort of pausing and thinking. But here's the truth. Confident people pause. Confident people think. Confident people breathe. You need to learn to tolerate silence. Silence is power. Silence signals comfort. Silence gives your message weight. Remove fillers. Replace them with intentional pauses. Replacement rule number 1. Silence is stronger than weak words. Instead of, pause. Instead of, like, breathe. Instead of, anchor yourself. When your mind wants to fill space, stop it. Hold the silence. Let your lungs reset. Let your words catch up to your intention. This is what leaders do. This is what strong communicators do. This is what you must train yourself to do. Replacement rule number 2. Replace uncertainty with direct statements. Every time you catch yourself saying, I think, swap it for something stronger. Replace. I think we could try with here's what we're going to do. Replace. Maybe we should consider with the best next step is. Replace. I guess what I'm trying to say with here's the point. You feel the difference immediately. You hear the difference. Others feel it too. This isn't about arrogance. This is about clarity. People follow clarity. Replacement rule number 3. Remove apology language unless you truly mean it. Stop saying sorry when you don't mean it. Don't say, sorry for interrupting. Say one moment. I need to add something. Don't say, sorry, this might be a dumb question. Say, here's a question that needs to be answered. Don't say, I'm sorry, but I disagree. Say, I see it differently. Here's why. Apologies should be rare, intentional, sincere. If you apologize for everything, people assume you're responsible for nothing. Replacement rule number 4. Cut softening adverbs completely. Remove kinda, sorta, maybe, probably, basically. These words dilute your message. They shrink your confidence. Replace them with nothing. Speak directly. Say, we need to improve this. Not, we kind of need to improve this. Say, the problem is here. Not basically, the problem is here. Say, this is important. Not, this is probably important. Strong communication is clean communication. Replacement rule number 5. End statements with certainty. Weak speakers end sentences upward, like a question. Strong speakers end downward, firm, grounded, final. Practice lowering your pitch at the end of sentences. Say it like you mean it. Say it like you stand behind it. Say it like a leader. Real-world example. Tech founders and investor confidence. Founders lose millions in funding because their language signals insecurity. Investors aren't just betting on a product. They're betting on a person, a vision, a leader. When a founder says, I think the market is, maybe ready for this. It doesn't matter if the idea is genius. The delivery kills the message. But when a founder says, the market is ready, here's why, here's the data, here's the plan. They get attention. They get credibility. They get funding. You don't need to be in Silicon Valley for this to matter. Every environment rewards certainty. Training drill, the power filter. Use this every day. Speak one sentence. Then run it through 3 filters. 1. Remove every filler. 2. Remove every softener. 3. Replace every hedge with a clear point. Before, I think we should maybe try changing the design a little bit. After, we need to change the design. Here's the reason. Your entire identity shifts when your language shifts. Your voice must match your ambition. If you want to lead, speak like a leader. If you want respect, speak like someone who respects their own words. If you want influence, speak with clarity, not clutter. The way you speak signals your identity long before your accomplishments do. Remove the weak language. Remove the fillers. Remove the softeners. Remove the doubt. Speak with intention. Speak with precision. Speak with power. Your voice is a tool. Sharpen it. Chapter 6. Tell stories that make people feel, not just listen. Facts inform. Stories transform. If you want influence, you must stop dumping logic on people and start guiding them through an emotional journey. People do not remember statistics. They remember the moment you made them feel something. They remember the picture you painted. They remember the tension you created. They remember the triumph you revealed. This is why great communicators aren't just speakers. They're storytellers. They understand the psychology of emotion. They understand how the brain reacts to narrative. They understand what hooks people and what loses them. And today, you're going to learn how to use storytelling as a tool of influence, not entertainment. Why storytelling works. The brain responds to narrative. When you tell a story, something powerful happens inside the listener's brain. It doesn't just hear words. It recreates the experience. Neuroscience shows that stories activate the auditory cortex, the visual cortex, the emotional centers, the memory centers, the motor cortex. This means your listener isn't just listening, they're living it. Pure logic cannot do that. Data cannot do that. PowerPoint slides cannot do that. Only narrative creates immersion. This is why Steve Jobs didn't present the first iPhone by listing features. He built a narrative, a tension, a journey, and a payoff. He told a story about the future. He made people feel the problem. He made people want the solution before he revealed it. That is storytelling used for influence. And that is what you must learn to do. Most people tell stories wrong. Let me be direct. Most people's stories are boring. Not because their life is boring, but because their structure is chaotic. They ramble. They add irrelevant details. They talk in circles. They forget the point. They have no tension, no emotion, no payoff. A story without structure is noise. And noise is the enemy of influence. You need structure. You need intention. You need clarity. And that's where the formula comes in. The 3-point story formula. Setup, conflict, transformation. This formula works everywhere. Speeches, job interviews, sales pitches, conversations, leadership moments, presentations, coaching, content creation, public speaking, storytelling on stage. If you learn this formula and drill it, you will become unforgettable. Let's break it down. 1. The setup. Give them a world they can step into. The setup is simple. You create context. You introduce the environment. You orient the listener. The setup answers 3 questions. Where are we? When is this happening? Who is involved? You do not overload people with backstory. You give them just enough to step into the scene. Example of a strong setup. I was standing backstage minutes before the biggest presentation of my life, palms sweating, heart racing. Immediate, clear, visual, emotional. Example of a weak setup. So this was like Maybe 2 years ago, I don't remember exactly, and I was supposed to present at this event, but I hadn't slept and the room was cold. Stop. Too long. Too many details. No stakes. Your setup must be sharp, clean, focused. Give your listener a doorway, not a maze. 2. The conflict. Create emotional tension. The conflict is the heartbeat of the story. It is the moment the listener leans forward. It is the point where something goes wrong, breaks down, or becomes uncertain. Conflict creates curiosity. Curiosity creates attention. Attention creates emotional investment. There are 3 kinds of conflict. Internal conflict, fear, doubt, insecurity. External conflict, obstacles, setbacks, resistance. Interpersonal conflict, disagreement, betrayal, tension with others. A powerful story often uses all 3. Example, I walked onto the stage and realized my slides had crashed. No notes, no visuals, just me and hundreds of silent faces waiting. That is conflict. That is tension. That is the moment people care. Conflict creates the emotional hook. Without conflict, your story is just a timeline. 3. The transformation. Deliver the emotional payoff. This is the climax, the shift, the lesson, the takeaway, the change. Every story must end with transformation. Something needs to evolve. Something needs to improve. Something needs to be understood. Transformation turns entertainment into insight. Example. So I dropped the script. I spoke from the heart. And for the first time in my life, I realized that people don't need perfect, they need real. That is transformation. It gives the story meaning. It gives the audience direction. It gives the moment purpose. Setup grabs attention. Conflict intensifies it. Transformation delivers the lesson. This is the structure that makes people feel. This is the structure that creates emotional buy-in. This is the structure of influence. Where people fail, the missing transformation. Most people tell stories that go nowhere. They tell you what happened, who said what they felt, the details, the play-by-play. But they never tell you what changed. And without transformation, your story is just noise. People don't want your memories. They want your meaning. They want to understand what the story proves, what the story teaches, what the story reveals, what the story changes. Your story must end with impact, a shift, a breakthrough, a new understanding. If the listener doesn't grow, the story failed. The emotional rules of storytelling. To use stories for influence, follow these rules. Rule 1, make the listener feel first, then think. Emotion opens a door. Logic walks through it. Rule 2, use sensory detail sparingly. Enough to paint a picture, not enough to drown the point. Rule 3, keep the timeline clean. Stories collapse when you jump around. Rule 4, one story equals one lesson. Do not cram 5 morals into one moment. Rule 5, make yourself human. People trust vulnerability. People connect with flaws. People follow authenticity. Rule 6, always tie the story back to the listener. Don't end with your success. End with their path forward. Stories create emotional permission. They help people see themselves inside your words. How Steve Jobs used stories to control emotion. Steve Jobs was a master in narrative. He didn't sell devices. He sold transformation. His product launches follow the exact formula. Setup. Describe the problem of the present, the frustration, the limitation. Conflict. Reveal why the existing solutions fall short. Tension rises. People feel the pain. Transformation. Introduce the new device. The breakthrough. The future. This is why people lined up for hours. Not for specs. For the story. Jobs made the audience feel something. He made them part of the journey. He made them anticipate the transformation. And you can do the same in your own world on your own stage. Practical drill, the 60-second story builder. Do this right now. Choose one moment from your life with emotional impact. Then write one sentence that describes the setup. I was standing in my boss's office, knowing decision I made today could cost me everything. Write one sentence that describes a conflict. He looked at me and demanded numbers I didn't have. Write one sentence that describes the transformation. That was the day I learned that preparation isn't optional. It's a foundation of confidence. Now speak the story out loud. 3 sentences. Clear, simple, focused. This is storytelling discipline. This is narrative power. This is influence. Your stories are your weapons. When you master storytelling, people trust you more. People remember you longer. People follow you quicker. People feel connected to you instantly. Facts speak to the mind. Stories speak to the heart. And the heart always wins. If you want to lead, tell stories. If you want to persuade, tell stories. If you want to inspire, tell stories. If you want to be unforgettable, tell stories. Use the formula. Use the structure. Use the emotional rules. Turn your experiences into lessons. Turn your lessons into influence. Turn your influence into impact. This is the power of narrative. This is how you make people feel, not just listen. Chapter 7. Control the energy of the room. Power isn't just what you say. It's the energy you project when you say it. If you cannot control the emotional temperature of a room, you cannot lead it. If you cannot direct the audience's attention, you cannot influence them. If you cannot shift your energy on command, your message dies the moment it leaves your mouth. Influence is energy management. It's intensity management. It's state control. Every elite communicator knows this. Every world-class speaker uses this. Every effective leader relies on this. They don't just speak. They conduct the room. They orchestrate the mood. They shape the emotional arc. And today you're going to learn how. Influence comes from emotional control, not volume. Most people think strong speaking is about loudness. Wrong. Loud is easy. Loud is cheap. Loud is amateur. Real power is contrast. Real power is intentionality. Real power is knowing when to elevate and when to drop your voice, so low the room leans in. Influence is dynamic. Static energy loses people. If your tone stays at one level, too loud, too soft, too monotone, the audience's brain checks out. It disconnects. It drifts. Your job is to wake it up. Your job is to control the rhythm. Your job is to move your voice the way a master painter moves color, strategically and with purpose. This is a foundation of commanding presence. Why energy controls attention. There's a psychological principle you must understand. People pay attention to what changes. The human brain is wired to track movement, shifts, fluctuations, transitions, patterns breaking. This is why monotone speakers put you to sleep. Nothing changes. Nothing activates your attention system. Nothing stimulates curiosity. But a speaker who moves up and down the energy ladder, who shifts intensity, who changes pace, who adjusts volume, keeps your brain awake. When you shift state, the audience shifts with you. This is how you hold attention without begging for it. The energy ladder. 5 states of vocal presence. There are 5 energy states you must master. You don't randomly bounce between them. You switch intentionally with purpose, depending on the moment. This is the energy ladder. State 1, the whisper, intimate, low, focus. State 2, the calm, assertive, steady, clear, controlled. State 3, the confident, neutral, baseline leadership tone. State 4, the energized command, strong, directed, high stakes. State 5, the peak surge, Maximum emotional intensity used sparingly. Every powerful speaker, leader, or communicator uses all five. The weak communicator uses only one, and usually poorly. Let's break each state down. State 1, the whisper. Create intimacy and pull focus. The whisper is your secret weapon. When you lower your voice, intentionally, the room tightens. People stop moving. People stop looking around. People lean in. A whisper creates intimacy. It signals importance. It makes people feel like they're hearing something meant for them. Use the whisper when you're delivering a key insight. You want emotional closeness. You're creating suspense. You want absolute silence. The whisper is not weakness. It's control. State 2, the calm assertive, your leadership default. This is the energy you should live in most of the time. The calm assertive tone is steady, grounded, deliberate, confident. It's the voice of someone who knows exactly what they're saying. No rush, no panic, no doubt. This tone gives your words credibility. It creates trust. It sets the emotional baseline. Use the calm assertive when giving direction, teaching, negotiating, explaining, correcting behavior, stating boundaries. This is your anchor state. Own it. State 3, the confident neutral, conversational authority. This is your social leadership voice. More relaxed than calm assertive, more personable than command tone, still authoritative. This is the tone you use when engaging people, not teaching, not commanding, connecting. Use it when telling stories, warming up a room, having everyday conversations, building rapport. This tone builds likability without sacrificing authority. It makes you human, approachable, real, but you don't stay here. You rise and fall on the ladder depending on the moment. State 4, the energized command. Take control of the room. This is the moment you raise intensity, intentionally, not yelling, not overhyping, not theatrical nonsense, just a controlled surge of energy. This tone says, pay attention, this matters, follow me. Use the energized command when making decisive statements, driving a point home, shifting the room's emotional state, calling people to action, delivering the punchline insight of a story. This is how you wake a room up. This is how you break through distraction. This is how you project authority without aggression. State 5, the peak surge, the rare atomic moment. This state is powerful because it is rare. You should use it only a few times in an entire presentation. Peak surge is the emotional climax. It's where passion hits its highest point. It's where intensity peaks, briefly. Use it for the final call to action, the emotional highlight of a story, the hard truth people have avoided, the breakthrough statement, the moment everything shifts. The peak surge creates memory. People remember where they felt maximum emotion, but if you stay here too long, you become overwhelming and lose the room. Peak surge is a weapon, not a lifestyle. How great speakers use the latter. Watch any elite speaker. You'll notice this pattern. They start in confident neutral. They slip into calm assertive to establish authority. They drop into whisper for intrigue. They rise into energized command for emphasis. They hit peak surge once or twice for maximum impact. This is not accidental. It's strategic. It's controlled. It's deliberate. It is energy choreography. This is how you control attention. This is how you shape emotion. This is how you dominate a room without force. Where most people fail, they stay in one state. Some stay too soft. Some stay too loud. Some stay too monotone. Some stay too motivational. Some stay too conversational. Staying stuck makes you predictable. Predictable is boring. Boring kills influence. Your voice must move. Your energy must shift. Your tone must evolve. Dynamic voice equals dynamic influence. Practical drill, the energy ladder rehearsal. Do this right now. Pick any sentence. For example, your future depends on what you do next. Now speak it 5 times. Whisper it. Assert it calmly. Say it neutrally, like a confident conversation. Command it with energized intensity. Deliver it with peak emotional surge. Feel the difference. Hear the difference. Notice how the meaning changes with the energy. This is your training. This is your practice. This is your power. Your energy is the atmosphere you create. People don't just listen to your words. They respond to the emotional climate you create. Your energy is the weather. Your tone is the temperature. Your presence is the environment. You're not just giving information. You're shaping experience. Master the energy ladder. Shift intentionally. Control the emotional flow. Dominate the room with precision. Lead with vocal discipline. Because influence isn't an accident. It's engineered. It's crafted. It's controlled. Control your energy. Control the room. Control the outcome. Chapter 8. Handle fear like a performer, not a beginner. Fear is not your enemy. Your misunderstanding of fear is your enemy. Beginners believe fear means stop. Professionals know fear means prepare. Masters understand fear means power. You are not going to eliminate fear. You are going to convert it. You are going to weaponize it. You are going to turn the very sensation you've been running from into the energy that fuels your best performance. This is not about removing fear. It's about dominating it. It's about owning your internal state so completely that anxiety becomes adrenaline, hesitation becomes clarity, and doubt becomes momentum. This is what performers do every single day. Fear is a signal, not a threat. When you step up to speak, on stage, in a meeting, in a boardroom, your brain lights up the same way it would if you were stepping onto a battlefield. Your heart races. Your breathing tightens. Your hands shake. Your mind runs fast. This is not weakness. This is biology. Your fear response is trying to help you. It's preparing your body for action. It's turning on the system that makes you alert, sharp, and ready. But here's the problem. You mislabel the signal. You think fear means danger, when in reality, fear means readiness. Professionals understand this. They know fear is activation, not a warning. You're not in danger. You're about to perform. The fastest path to power is reframing your fear as fuel. Even the greats feel fear. Let's be clear. Fear does not disappear with success. High-level performers feel it even more intensely. Adele throws up before concerts. Hugh Jackman says his heart pounds before every stage entrance. Serena Williams admits she feels stage panic before major matches. Professional actors pace back and forth, shaking their hands, pumping their breath, trying to regulate the nerves. But notice this. They go out anyway. Not because the fear is gone, because they've learned what to do with it. This is where you stop acting like a beginner. Beginners fight fear. They try to suppress it. They panic when it doesn't disappear. Professionals accept fear. They expect it. They prepare for it. They use it. Your goal is not confidence without fear. Your goal is confidence through fear. The fear conversion method. You're going to learn the system every high-level performer uses, not the diluted version, the real version. The fear conversion method has 3 steps. Normalize the signal, channel the energy, redirect the focus. Master these 3 steps, and your fear becomes your advantage. Let's break them down. Step 1, normalize the signal. Fear becomes dangerous only when you panic about feeling fear. This is where most people collapse. They feel their heart race and they freak out. They feel pressure in their chest and assume they're about to fail. They feel their voice tighten and conclude they're not ready. You must stop interpreting fear as a failure of confidence. Fear is the body preparing to perform. Fear is readiness. Fear is energy. When you feel it, say to yourself, "This is my pre-performance activation. Good. I'm ready." This immediately breaks the spiral of self-doubt. Why does this work? Because your interpretation determines your outcome. If you interpret fear as danger, your body shuts down. If you interpret fear as preparation, your body steps up. Normalize the signal. Don't fight your biology. Partner with it. Step 2, channel the energy. Fear gives you energy. Your job is to direct it. Right now, your fear energy goes into overthinking. You fire it into worst-case scenarios. You fire it into insecurity. You fire it into panic. Professionals fire that same energy into performance. Here are 3 physical tools to channel adrenaline. 1. Strong exhale reset. Push out a long, forceful exhale through your mouth. This resets the vagus nerve, lowers cortisol, and calms the mind. 2. Grounded stance. Plant your feet shoulder-width apart. Bend your knees slightly. Feel the floor. This stops shaking and stabilizes your breath. 3. Power breathing. Breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6. Repeat 5 times. This gives you control over the energy, instead of letting the energy control you. Fear is raw fuel. Channel it. Don't waste it. Step 3. Redirect the focus. Fear grows when you focus on yourself, on your voice, on your image, on your mistakes, on how people might judge you. This is beginner thinking. Professionals focus outward, on the message, not themselves, on the audience, not their ego, on impact, not impression. When you redirect focus outward, fear dissolves. Try this before you speak. Say, "This isn't about me. This is about what they need." This immediately shifts your brain from performance anxiety to service-driven communication. Fear cannot survive when your attention is on contribution. What fear looks like when you control it. Let's get practical. When you dominate fear, your voice steadies, your breathing slows, your pacing becomes intentional, your delivery sharpens, your mind clears, your presence strengthens. People feel the shift. They don't know why, but they feel your authority. Fear no longer leaks through your words or your body. It works for you instead of against you. This is the transformation the fear conversion method creates. Fear is energy. Energy is power. Power is presence. When most people feel fear, they shrink. When leaders feel fear, they expand. Fear is your body saying, "Wake up. Focus. Get ready. You're about to do something important." Stop calling it a problem. Start calling it a performance cue. Fear is not a barrier. Fear is an indicator. Fear is the doorway. You're not eliminating fear. You're rewiring your relationship to it. Practical drill, the 30-second fear flip. Here's a drill you must do before every presentation. Stand tall. Ground your feet. Take one long exhale to reset. Take one controlled inhale and slow exhale. Say aloud, "This is energy. This is fuel. This is momentum." Direct your attention outward. Picture the faces you're about to help. This entire sequence takes 30 seconds. It turns panic into focus. It turns hesitation into command. It turns fear into leadership. You are not afraid to perform. You are afraid to be seen. Let me tell you the truth. Your fear is not about speaking. Your fear is about exposure. Your fear is about the possibility of judgment. Your fear is about stepping up and being visible. But leaders do not hide. Leaders do not wait for fear to disappear. Leaders do not wait for perfect conditions. Leaders act. Leaders speak. Leaders move, not because they are fearless, but because they understand fear better than everyone else. Fear is a signal. Fear is fuel. Fear is power. Learn to convert it. Learn to use it. Learn to dominate it. Handle fear like a performer, not a beginner. Your voice will change. Your presence will strengthen. Your impact will multiply. And the world will finally hear you. Chapter 9. Speak to lead, not to impress. Most people speak to be liked. Leaders speak to be understood. Most people speak to impress. Leaders speak to create action. The moment you stop performing for approval, everything changes. Your voice tightens. Your message sharpens. Your presence strengthens. People can feel when you're trying too hard. They can smell insecurity. They hear the extra fluff. They hear the softer edges. They hear the verbal decoration you add because you're terrified someone might not approve. Impressing people is a trap. Leading people is a responsibility. In this chapter, you will learn how to communicate like someone who knows exactly who they are, exactly what they mean, and exactly where they're going. This is the voice of leadership, not ego, not arrogance. Clarity, conviction, direction. The leadership communication paradox. Here's the strange truth. When you stop trying to impress people, you become more impressive. Why? Because confidence comes from intention, not decoration. Authority comes from direction, not performance. Respect comes from clarity, not theatrics. Trying to impress people makes you talk too much, explain too much, qualify too much, soften too much, hesitate too much, all because you're trying to protect your image. Leaders don't protect their image. They protect their mission. They protect their message. They protect their clarity. If you want to communicate like a leader, you must drop the performance mindset and replace it with a results mindset. You're not speaking to look smart. You're speaking to make something happen. Why military leaders speak better than CEOs? Military communication is a masterclass in clarity. No fluff, no decoration, no ego, no guessing. They speak this way because clarity saves lives. Uncertainty creates danger. Hesitation creates chaos. When a military leader says, "Move now," nobody asks, "What do you mean?" The directive is precise. The language is sharp. The message is unmistakable. Now imagine if you applied this level of clarity to your speaking. Your audience would never wonder what you meant. Your team would never question your intent. Your listeners would never feel lost. Your message would land on the first hit. This is the foundation of speaking to lead. The 3 edges of leadership speech. Leadership communication has edges. Clear beginnings. Clear directives. Clear conclusions. No drifting. No wandering. No soft, foggy phrasing. You're going to master these edges right now. Edge 1, clear beginnings. Start with intent. Most people start their sentences with apologies, excuses, or softeners. So I just want to say, I think maybe we should, I'm not sure, but this is noise. This is weakness. This is insecurity leaking out of your mouth. A leader starts with a point. Try these instead. Here's what matters. This is a priority. Let's get clear. Here's the decision. Let me simplify this. Clean, direct, strong. Your first sentence sets the emotional tone. Your first breath tells people whether to lean in or check out. Begin like a leader, not like a child asking for permission. Edge 2, clear directives. Tell people what to do. Leadership requires direction. Direction requires decisive language. There are 2 types of speech. Descriptive, talking about things. Directive, moving people towards something. Most speakers stay in description. Leaders switch to direction. Here's what weak communication looks like. We can maybe try to adjust a plan. I think it might be helpful if someone could. Maybe we should consider. No. Stop. Cut the softness. Directive language sounds like this. Here's the path. Here's the next step. Here's what I need from you. This is a decision. This is a strategy. Here's what we're doing. Directive speech clarifies. It commands. It organizes. It leads. Every time you speak, ask yourself, am I describing or am I directing? Leaders direct. Edge 3, clear conclusions. End with closure. If your endings are weak, your message dissolves. If your endings are vague, your authority collapses. If your endings drift, your listeners forget everything you said. A leader ends with clarity. Examples of weak endings. So, yeah, that's basically it. Anyway, that's my point, I guess. Yeah, so that's a general idea. These endings destroy presence. And like this, here's what this means moving forward. Here's the takeaway. Here's the action point. That's the decision. That's the direction. Leaders close loops. Leaders create certainty. Leaders give people something to hold on to. Your ending is the anchor. The reason most people don't speak like leaders. You've been conditioned to prioritize approval over action. You were taught to be polite instead of clear. Be careful instead of expressive. Be soft instead of direct. Be agreeable instead of honest. You've learned to communicate in a way that maintains comfort rather than creates results. Leaders do not protect comfort. Leaders protect clarity. Leaders protect truth. Leaders protect direction. If clarity makes someone uncomfortable, that's their work, not yours. Your job is not to cushion reality. Your job is to deliver it. Craft your leadership voice with these 3 shifts. You're going to make these shifts immediately. Shift 1, replace uncertainty with certainty. Instead of, I think we could say, we are going to, instead of, maybe the plan is, say, the plan is, instead of, I'm not sure, but say, here's what we know. Language shapes perception. Perception shapes authority. Shift 2, replace pleasing with leading. Stop asking for validation. Start giving direction. People respect someone who knows where they're going. Shift 3, replace rambling with structure. Every message should follow this pattern. Point, why it matters, what happens next. Simple, defined, strong. This is how leaders communicate under pressure. This is how you must communicate. 2, practical drill, the 30-second leadership reframe. Take any idea. Practice saying it 3 ways. As a clear beginning, here's what matters. As a directive, here's what we're doing. As a conclusion, here's the takeaway. This trains your brain to think like a leader, not a performer. You're building edges. Edges create certainty. Certainty creates respect. You are not here to impress. You are here to lead. Impressing is about ego. Leading is about impact. Impressing is about approval. Leading is about clarity. Impressing is about performance. Leading is about direction. Your voice becomes powerful the moment you stop using it to protect your image and start using it to move people, shape decisions, and create momentum. Speak to lead. Speak to direct. Speak with edges. Speak with intent. Speak like someone who knows where they're going. Because when you sound like a leader, people will follow. You've reached the end of Master Your Voice, and I hope these lessons stay with you long after the final chapter. The way you speak is more than sound. It's your presence, your confidence, and your influence. When you communicate with clarity and intention, people feel it. They listen. They connect. Remember, great speakers aren't born. They're shaped through practice, awareness, and patience. Every conversation, every presentation, every moment you choose to speak with purpose brings you one step closer to mastering your voice. Thank you for listening. If this audiobook supported your growth, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Growth Listen. Your support helps this community grow and encourages more people who want to improve their lives. Keep practicing, keep refining, and keep using your voice with power and confidence.